Farage, really good. How are you?
I'm doing incredibly well. You're last on the docket today, but by no means least. We're going to make a big deal about the big number 950,000 in an oversubscribed pre seed round. How do you feel?
Yeah, really good. It's brilliant to get validation right and get the fuel to get the fires burning and getting the venture really rocketing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so happy. It's great to see a UK startup raising something so large. I'm sure the seed's gonna have to be like 6 million to sort of like triple the valuation. I'm looking forward to it. Give me some context on you. Give me some context on Meshed.
All right. So I am second time founder. Started my last venture about 6 years ago. Sold that and left it in December 23. My background is I'm an insurance veteran. I started my last venture born out of frustration with the way that I seen the insurance market moving and what it was given, what the customer outcomes were, the apathy towards the products, the pain points that people had in buying it. Just thought there's got to be a better way of doing this. So I decided, with a month old baby at home, to leave my high paid corporate life behind me and start a startup.
We love to see it. What a time to be alive, eh? So what does Mesh do specifically?
So what Mesh does is it uses AI to eviscerate all of the manual tasks and the heavy lifting in the commercial insurance market. And what does that do, right? Because that all sounds very grandiose. What that means is we can pass savings on to customers because we need to take less of the pie to make the magic happen. And insurers get to get a much more in-depth view of what the customer profile looks like so they can underwrite in a much more efficient way.
This is incredible. I have so many questions because insurance has always felt like a black box. When we when you're thinking about the like what people optimize for in insurance, we typically optimize for price, right? Like how does
Yeah.
Mesh solve that problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we do is we strip out such a large chunk of the cost. So where we are today, we're onboarding customers, we're feeling our way into markets and how that works. But I think typically we're saving customers between 25 and 30% of the cost as it stands. Um, and what that allows us to do is to take the conversation away from price and allow the customer to think more about risk. And that's really where we want to get to. The other thing that we're doing and building, which we're really super excited about, is solving the biggest problem in insurance. Uh, Depending which talking head you speak to, Allianz have a figure, Aviva, AXA, but they all reckon between 50 and 80% of commercial customers are underinsured, and half of those
Underinsured.
underinsured, right?
Insane.
So, so if you're a small to medium-sized enterprise and you're churning away and grinding hard to build your business, being underinsured by that amount means that if a claim happens, one that's of a reasonable size, you're in big bother.
That is that is wild. 50% doesn't seem like it seems outrageous that 50% of customers would be underinsured. Why now? Like why is this the right moment? Is it because of the advent of AI that you're able to sort of clean through data at an alarming rate that provides this value and so that consumers the businesses can focus on risk and taking risk by getting more cash in their
Yeah,
bank?
yeah. So two things on that, right? So the insurance market is incredibly complex. So we've been going for about 10 weeks trading. But my background is this, so I've done it forever.
Can I
We've got
ask then, can we just dumb this down for the audience and like everyone, myself included?
yeah,
Can you explain insurance?
yeah, in its purest form, insurance is the transfer of risk to someone else, right? You give someone else a premium that pays for risks that might occur in your business. And the one of the seven guiding principles of insurance is contribution. So you get a group of people that put in money and it pays out if something goes wrong to one of the people in that pool, right? It's a fantastic concept. It's one of the best concepts in capitalism. What we're really getting into now is the execution of that concept.
Interesting. And why is it so complex then? And why has it sort of not been? innovated upon in this way?
So it's very complex because it's got lots and lots and lots of moving parts. So we've got 51 insurers that we tap into. Those insurers all tap into reinsurers. Those insurers also give what's called capacity to MGAs, managing general agents, and cover holders. Then you've got the Lloyd's market that sits at the side of that. So what you have is in a typical broker, if you think about, like, I'm sitting here and you say, Viraj, you say, here's my schedule of insurance. So what I've got to do is tap into my mind and go, right, who likes this type of risk? Who's the contact at that risk? How do I get this presentation to that person? How do I then wait for that coming back? And then wait for other people that like that risk coming back, and then collate all of that information, get that to you, and give it to you in a way that you can understand. That is all manually time consuming and latent with unconscious and conscious bias. Because if I have got another customer that looks like Viraj, I might think that insurer over there likes that risk and just go to them. And I might ignore other insurers who also like that risk because I've got an unconscious bias towards that. And then there is also conscious bias, right? Some brokers may be getting 35% commission for placing a risk with X insurer and 20% for placing a risk with Y insurer. Now, it's very difficult as a human being, you know, to ignore that fact. What we've done to eliminate that is we just take flat 10% commission off of everyone. We don't go above it. And that just gets rid of that bias that might sit in the team as we escalate in size. But the unconscious part is really what we're thinking about now. We're using AI to do all of that heavy lifting. So that will go out to the insurers, it will retrieve the quotes, it will bring it back, it will collate it in a way that our brokers have got the pertinent parts of that contract that they need to focus on, and they can quickly give the customer the advice that they need.
Is the goal then to take out the agent totally?
Um, so the goal is to give the customer what we believe is the best service available on the market at the best possible price. If that kills the agent, then there you go.
But like it also feels like a co-pilot in a lot of respects, right? It's a platform that the customer can come to, and then the
Oh
insurance
yeah,
agents can come to as well.
yeah. So that it is that, that correlated working. So the customer inside our platform, they can upload their current schedules. They can come onto the platform. They can request information from us. They can let us know about stuff happening. The broker market still tends to work like a 9 to 5,
But businesses are
rhythm.
never that, right? If you're running one,
No,
it's never that.
well, if you think about like restaurant owners, right? I don't know if you know any restaurant owners. They work in the morning, they have the middle of the day off, and then if they're actually making any money, they're definitely there at night time, right? So when do they get to speak to an insurance broker?
Never.
So they are
Absolutely never.
then they're then maybe stuck with the same broker because, and then that's when the inertia drum kicks in, right? Because they go, oh, can't get hold of anybody. I'll just keep renewing it where it is and just keep renewing it where it is and not updating the customer about what their risk profile looks like. So what we're working on is that we integrate with the customer's own operating system so we can see their turnover and their wage roll and their headcount and all of these things in real time, which will give us a financial view of what's going on inside that business so that we can then create triggers to go and speak to that customer if we think there's changes happening that they need to let us know about. And the classic example, or the way that I like to describe this, is that what happens now is the insurance broker serves like in tennis over the net and then waits for the response. We're flipping it on its head. We want to be the one that's going to the customer where they live, not interrupting their day and getting the data that we need to make sure they've got the best cover, as opposed to sitting waiting for them to tell us that stuff's changed. Because SMEs are, in my experience, and funnily enough, I was speaking to someone another day about this. I must have spoke to 30 or 40,000 SMEs in my time, and I don't think I've ever met one ever who hasn't said to me that I just don't have enough hours in the day. If we can take something away from their mental capacity they don't need to think about, then that's what customers are really after today, right? That's what people want. They want someone else to take care of stuff for them.
It feels like almost a psychological player as well as a value proposition that you're offering. I've got to ask though, is the UK insurance market ready for something like this?
I think the customers are ready for it, 100%, right? The market needs to move with what the customer demand is. Demands have changed entirely. If you look across at the accountancy world, they've become much more intuitive to what their customer needs.
QuickBooks
They
is an
use amazing,
example. Monzo's
yeah,
doing an
so they use
integration
tools
in the
like
future.
yeah, they use tools like Dext, right? They can go into your system. They tell you what receipts they need for expenses. Gone are the days when guys were showing up with Tesco bags going, here's all my receipts. What do you want to do with that, right? That's all gone. These amazing tools are going to the customer where they live and taking care of them.
Long term, what does this end up looking like? Are you going to build out your own underwriting service underneath the platform? Or is the
We
vision
think
risen larger?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, if you look across the underwriting piece, that's something we're thinking a lot about. So a lot of the inefficiencies that exist inside the broking market also exist inside the insurer market. We think that over time we can build up the expertise that can then be paired with the automation and AI that we're building to create even more saving for the customer and for the insurer. I mean, ultimately, our job is to pivot from insurer to customer and add value at both sides of the ledger. If we're not adding value at both sides, this won't work.
How big does this need to get before you can get out of the UK and start operating in Europe?
Um, yeah, not sure. I think it's not about size, it's about the scope of the technology that we've built, right? And that is a foot race. We are well aware that technology moves quick, and we've got to move quick 5% above the rest of the market. Although interestingly, I had an interview with someone from the insurance press only yesterday, and they told me that 80% of brokers, following on from a survey they done, are even thinking about using AI inside their organisation.
It's just the world we live in today. It's like some people are against it, other people just aren't putting it and shipping it into production. I think it's
Yeah,
great that you're building something that actually provides value right off the rip.
but there's definitely a perception risk here, right? So the question that person asked me is, what do your customers feel about the fact you're using AI? And I'm like, yeah, the customer doesn't get to see that. We're just using it as a tool to be more efficient. It's a bit like the iPhone, right? I know what functions it gives me. I've no idea how it does it. I don't need to know how it does it. All the customer sees is they've got someone they can speak to whenever they want because they're not spending all their time in paperwork, and it's cheaper than I was paying before.
It's a nice place to be. I've got to ask, what's hard about building this right now?
Um, yeah, I mean, building startups from scratch is hard, right? But my basic answer to what's hard about it is if it wasn't hard, everybody would be doing it, which I know is like complete cliche bingo, but I think that's the truth. I think it's about finding the experts from the insurance world who have got a mindset that they want change, and then it's also about that comms piece because I think that that is the biggest problem that technology interfacing with old industries has is the comms piece. How are we communicating the good parts from the old world and making sure the new world integrates all of that good stuff?
I love it. Talk to me about the team a little. Obviously, incredible talent, from what I've seen and what I've heard, and as much as I can read online. But give me some color on this crack development team, this like crack founding team you've got.
So I'll take it from the top then. So we've got Jake Wells. Jake joined me in the journey at the last business, and when we knew we were selling it, he was definitely number one pick of who I wanted to be part of this journey. In fact, we were mapping out how this would look probably, for a good few months leading up to the sale. Um, and then there's Vince, our CTO. Vince has got a first class in applied mathematics from oh, I'm going to forget what college it is now. Imperial College London. He's then got his master's in computer science, backed up by Mike, who's got a similar background in technology. Mike spent a big chunk of his career in Canada because he's Canadian. Um, and then we've got Luca and Elle, who are our most recent recruits. Luca is a really smart broker that understands broker and understands contract. Elle was actually Chief Operations Officer at a life sciences
Oh,
startup.
insane.
Yeah, so she brings that kind of science view to the business, and she's also just super smart and really quick at executing, which is great. And then we've got external contractors that we're working with to help build out our brand and messaging.
I love it. Talk to me about the capital raise. Like, what is the plans with that 950,000? Is it to grow the team out a little bit more? Spend on? I assume it's not to spend on marketing, but it's more to dial in the product.
Yeah, it's all about the product and that product market fit, right? So our distribution model relies on a lot speaking with partners. We work with accountants. We love accountants because a lot of the tools that we're building chimes with the tools that they use. So we've got we really want to get to the point that we've proven to some extent that we've built that market for distribution. We want to get the technology to the point that we are just tearing through tickets and just getting smarter and quicker every day that we go. And then that last piece would be that building our own underwriting capability in house so that when we come to do our seed round, we've hit in three pillars of growth, three pillars of understanding, and really, I think that at this stage in a business's evolution, it's all about learning, right? Have we learned how we speak to our target market, our go to market? Have we got insurers on side who want to work with us? And is the technology singing? If we can get to the point that all three of those things are in a real good shape and you can see and feel the involvement, I think it puts us in good shape for a seed round.
Mark, I'm looking forward to it. When that seed run comes around, I will be right here waiting to announce it with you. I'll let you crack on. Go change insurance for the better because it feels like the most opaque industry that we operate in. I'm looking forward to catching up with you and the rest of the team. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks for your time.